What's up, guys? Killer Knives, I'm back. This is going to be a full collection video. Nothing has been left out except for like EDC items and specialty items that are not knives. So I'm not sure how in depth I'm gonna get. I'm assuming it'll be a pretty long video. I just was running through my knives, giving them a cleanup, and I figured why not touch base with you guys and show you everything that I got right now. I'm just gonna start with this yellow box. A lot of the stuff's gonna remain off screen, and this will be a pretty lengthy video. Like I said, I'm gonna show you every knife, and I may or may not mention some details, so stick around if you want to see. Like, I don't know, I got like 45 knives here. So first one's gonna be 8015. Custom scales, cold steel version, micarta and S35 VN. Pretty damn good knife, classic at this point, and really happy to have this one. Although I do hopefully one day hope to upgrade to MG demko version or custom version, but sticking with this for now until I can find something. SR1 Lite, Tanto, cold steel, 8CR, 13 MOV steel. This thing is a beautiful little tank. Man, I don't know what I paid, but it's like around the $30 or $40 range, and you're getting a real full-size knife. It's a great beater knife for the steel. It probably won't last forever if it's an everyday use knife. And it's super thick behind the edge, so I'm not really sure what its all-around purpose is intended for, but great, fun, cheap knife to have, that's for sure. Then we have the real SR1 S35 VN steel, OD green G10 scales, triad lock. This is before Lynn Thompson sold his company. So man, I miss cold steel. Thankfully I have a good assortment of them. 4MAX Scout, this is AUS 10A steel. Can't even find a real 4MAX anymore online, except for the most modern version, which I think is like purple and S35, but the original one was gray or beige with 20 CV. They're made in Italy or America. Really tough to find those, but it's fun to have these. Also not the most practical knife in the world, but I love this knife. It's fat and beefy. This one is the Grivery scale version, Scout version. Cost about 70 or 80 bucks. I think I paid something like that. Also, you know, I bought a lot of these knives kind of a while ago, so don't get upset if you go to look for one and it's like $100 or something. I'm not sure how much it is now. Recon 1, beautiful workhorse of a knife. Huge fan of this knife. Carried it all around. I did rub a little bit of oil on my G10 scales. I don't have a lot of knives with G10 scales, but I did put a little oil on them. They were looking a little dry, and I rubbed my blades lightly with some WD-40 as well. This knife's freaking awesome. Definitely one of the best designs coming from cold steel. Ergonomics are excellent, and overall just a huge fan. Great user knife. Still the factory edge on this blade. I've never had to sharpen it. I'm not quite sure how long I've had it. Probably 2 years or more. I don't know, COVID has been messed up, so I think 2 years. Skewed my vision of time. 8010, also cold steel version. As most of you know, it is quite impossible to find a real 8010 custom version or MG. And if you do find one, you're gonna pay, you know, a lot of money. But this knife is freaking amazing. On another note, the custom versions of these knives are definitely like my ultimate grail knife. Anybody out there has one, hit me up. I really want one. It's definitely like the icing on the cake for me if I could get a real one of these. I love this knife so much. Let's see, what else we got? Cold steel. Oh. Lite 6-inch version. Lite aluminum handle version. Pretty sweet knife. I've actually carried this a ton. You can see the pocket. This is like one of the first knives I bought. You know, it's not the first, but when I first started getting the ability to purchase knives like 2-3 years ago, this is one of the first ones I bought. I just thought it was so awesome, and I carried it everywhere. I think I got it like in the fall, and it was jacket weather, and you know, I was just keeping this in my jacket or wearing long jackets and rocking it right in the pocket purely for self-defense purposes. I was living in a bad neighborhood, and this definitely gives you a lot of ability to walk the streets and feel like, all right, well, this could scare somebody in a situation. I mean, God forbid you ever have to use it, but this is a sweet fucking knife, you know, big boy. And it's got the wave feature, so you can pull this out of your pocket and it'll be open already, which definitely has like a drop your jaw kind of factor to it. Cold Steel Frenzy, another big boy. I think it's about 12 inches overall. Could be bigger, could be smaller. I don't know, I'm not going to measure it now. S35 VN. The Lite was also S35 VN. So this is like towards the end of Cold Steel's reign when all these knives were acquired, when they were using S35. Excellent heat treat on all of these blades. You know, sometimes I do some crazy stuff in my life, like basically like get drunk or something, and I'll like chug a beer can and I'll like take out one of these knives and like chop it in half or chop down on it, and these have no marks on them. Excellent heat treat, not chippy, just strong and durable. This is a real cool knife. I think it's a knife that probably could have benefited from sort of wave feature. I know they sell aftermarket or whatever, but I always like when it's integrated directly into the blade. It would have looked good. I think it would have been extremely functional. But nonetheless, cool knife. The fullers work on it. These bigger knives, you got to use a little wrist action. I mean, there's no real way around that. I mean, a little bit. All right, here's one more last Cold Steel, Espada XL. This will not fit on the screen if I try. Maybe I can get all of it. Nope. Big, huge, sweet knife. What is this one? Aus 10A. I opted for the cheaper version of this. You know, this sits in a drawer. I don't carry this, you know, barely ever. I've carried it probably 3 times just for fun, like late at night or something, you know. Freaking awesome. I mean, the wave feature works insane on this. This will whip open right out of your pocket. It's enormous. Got multiple ways to convert your hands on this for grips. You could two-hand it. I mean, forget it. It's a small sword. All right, let's see what else. We got one more Cold Steel, actually. I don't want to miss out on anything. I know the last video I did, I think I skipped over one of my knives. I really don't want to do that to you guys this time. This is the Cold Steel Holdout, S35 VN. This is, as you can see, based off the maker's mark, that this is one of the newer productions based off the emblem. Cold steel was purchased. I forget the name of the company. It doesn't really matter. Whatever. They're a huge outdoor company. They haven't really done much, but they do have this. I love this little version. You know, such a compact little knife, great backup knife, triad lock power, strength to secure the blade open, super lightweight. This knife is like 2.5 ounces or something like that, maybe less. It's freaking cool. And it's strong, it's thin. This will get lost in your pocket, coin pocket even. Can't really beat it. It was a little pricey, I think, personally, for the size of the knife. I think these were going like $115 on Knife Center. I think I used a promo code or something and bought it. I think I got like 20 bucks off or something like that. I ended up paying like 95 bucks for this, but it's worth it. The G10's super nice and smooth, and like I mentioned before, you know, it's thin, milled out pockets. It's a really cool little knife. It's kind of fidgety too, in its weird triad lock way, but I like that. All right, I really think that's the last of the cold steel, so let's move on. I'll do this first. This is the only slip joint I have in my collection. It is a Great Eastern Cutlery Freedom acrylic knife. This is the sheep's foot blade or Warncliffe blade. Pretty cool, nice details. I like it. A lot of details on it for such a little knife. We the people, up close. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Anyways, it says don't tread on me. Not gonna focus. All right. Freedom on the blade, really cool. I'm not sure if this is, I know it has brass lining. I'm guessing it's stainless steel bolsters. It's cool. It's nice, some Americana right here. So, gotta love that. I'm gonna do all my autos now, which isn't that many, and then we'll move on to the rest of the collection. Let's see. We have a Protech TR5. It's really cool. It's a custom Mike Irie ground blade, 154 cm. It's really nice. I just mentioned I did just like wipe all my blades down a little bit with like a light bit of WD-40, so I just got to keep these things in good shape while they just sit in the box. This knife is freaking great. It's really beautiful. Great ergonomics on it. Beautiful. Just the mother of pearl inlay is gorgeous. See if we can get it to capture the light. It's not like the highest quality mother of pearl. I mean, look, it's cool though. And the blade is great. Microtech stitch. M390. This was made last year in June, so it's about a year old. Very awesome knife. Collectible, you know. I don't know how functional it is. I can't carry it outside, you know. I'll carry it once in a while. That's like, you know, pressing your luck. You're carrying stuff like this here. You're not supposed to. So, you know, I try not to do that. Try to be a good citizen in this world, you know. But these are collectible. Mostly they stay in my house. I think they're just really awesome knives. Microtech brachial. This knife is quite good. I love the blade shape. I'm not sure how functional of a knife this is either, but it's designed for self-defense. It's really cool. I love the frag pattern on it. M390. Just a great collector's piece. You know, that's my opinion on that. I think it's really beautiful. So this little guy. I love this little guy. It's like the smallest knife I own other than that GEC, and this might be smaller than this. Yeah, it's a little smaller. but I love it. It's so cool, and people need to make more like tiny autos, but not tiny like the Protech Runt. More like this size is so perfect. This is a Kershaw Launch 11. I think the overall length Psychedelica, like maybe 6.5 to 7 inches. It's just a perfect little thing, man. So cool. I think it's 154, CPM 154. Cool knife. I love the little bronze anodized bolster. You know, it's just simple. It's almost elegant. Black stonewash blade. Nice action. It's a fun one. All right, you got microtech, ultratech. Dagger style, half serrated. These knives are so cool, man. I don't know if I could go out and say they're underrated, but I don't know how truly appreciated these knives are. They're really great. There's some stuff going on in the world, but I still think microtech makes the best OTFs. And then the microtech combat troodon, carbon fiber top, bronze serrated M390 tanto blade. Everything's bronze. It's a signature series. I love this knife, man. It's definitely one of my favorite knives. I'm not gonna try and like make you hear it, but it makes one of the coolest like little pinging sounds. It's really awesome. Huge fan of this. I'm not really a fan of this glass breaker thing, but whatever. That's cool. I love all of that. I love everything. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee, excuse me. All right, 17 minutes in, guys. We got a lot to go. Chris Reeve Sebenza 31. This is Boomerang Damascus and Natural Micarta. Really, really nice, man. Really nice. Guys, I don't know if you see all the beating up. That's the water from my coffee. It's not oil, all right? Just FYI. In case you think I'm a crazy man that douses my knives in oil, and I don't. Did rub it down with a little bit of oil, but that's the water from my hands. These knives are freaking nice. I don't know how I feel about the 31 versus the other ones I'm going to show you. I have the inkosi. It's the single blade black micarta inlays. Really beautiful. Definitely one of my favorite knives. This one here. I've used it a ton. Cut myself wide open with this before. I'm a huge fan of this one. I really, really love it. The overall fit, finish, the way it feels. Huge fan of the inkosi with the inlays. Up until recently, I did have a plain Jane Tanto one, the inkosi, but I sold it to a buddy of mine. I really love that one. So this, I think, is probably the top tier of Chris Reeve's knives. Excuse me. But this is a Macassar ebony inlay 21. Chris Reeve's knives 21. With the satin finish blade and gold anodized thumb stud. It's just the action on this knife, I don't know how to describe it, just so smooth compared to even the other ones, the 31 and the inkosi. It's so smooth. I think a lot of it has to do with the thinness of the blade. It's thinner than the rest of them, and it also doesn't have this giant ceramic ball detent. And I think it just makes it better. It feels better. It feels like just so smooth. The other ones feel great too. I just think I don't know. I guess the ceramic ball detent is a better overall design in the sense that it wears down slower, but then titanium or whatever's in here, probably hardened steel ball. But yeah, this knife just feels amazing. I love this knife. Here's a cool one. I just got some scales for this, 80/20 and 20 CV. And these are aluminum original goat scales, Cerakoted in Stormtrooper white that I just got. Took about a month to make them from order to my door. Really awesome. 80/20 is just unbelievable knife. You gotta appreciate it. If you don't appreciate the ones you guys got, why don't you contact me and I'll buy it from you, maybe. Here's a really cool one. Fullti M390 80/20 slim. Kind of a controversial knife, honestly. I posted this on eBay one day, kind of like messing around, joking around. I think like for $5,000. I got like really drunk. I dropped the price down to $3,500, like thinking that it was never gonna sell, and someone bought it in like 5 minutes, and I never expected that to happen. I always intended on keeping it. It was kind of just a what if, oh my god, if this would sell for 5,000, blah blah blah. It didn't sell for 5,000, but $3,500, you know, it's crazy. It's a $700 knife. But I will tell you, that whole thing I had to go through and canceling and refunding the guy, it was a pain in the neck. eBay made it really miserable, honestly. It made me feel horrible, but it made me feel like this knife is irreplaceable. You can't replace this. I don't know how many of these actually exist. I know there's this one and maybe one other one. And my opinion on the Demko 80/20s at this point is that they're kind of like sprint runs of knives. I mean, like Spyderco. So, you know, he's making knives and then he's not making them again in the same steel or some of the styles. So this is carbon fiber L-Max 80/20, super lightweight. This knocks off a good ounce at least in comparison to the others. And I do think that this is, no, he's done the shark's foot on the slims before, but the shark's foot on the Demko MGs is, I would say, rarer than the drop point and the clip points. Now here's an 80/20.5. It's really not an 80/20.5, so to speak. Really, it's just the lock mechanism and the liners in here that are still intact from the knife that I actually bought it to be. I have a reblade on here from Transparent Knives. This is a Magna Cut acid washed blade. I'm not sure what you would call this blade shape per se. I don't know what that would be. Whatever, I don't know, kind of like a reverse tanto, but doesn't matter. This is a Magna Cut blade. I believe he said it's 64.6 Rockwell or 63.6 Rockwell, I can't remember. It's pretty high up there, really nice. I've used it a bunch. And then you have a more original goat scales. These are titanium, pineapple, and a jimped backspacer. Really excellent. I mean, you'd have to expect it to be excellent after all the upgrades done to it, but cool knife. Huge fan of that. This is a fox knife radius, and this has a really cool opening mechanism. It's like a button lock on a swivel that also you get to use the button lock to open it and close it. So It's pretty sweet. Very interesting. Fidgety little knife. I'd say it's about 7 inches overall. It's like a 3.5 finger knife, maybe. It depends how you're holding it. If I hold it like that, it's really just a 3-finger knife. If I choke up a little, I can get about a bit of the meat back here on the end of the handle here. But overall, super cool knife. Made in Italy, M390 blade. Super duper cool. Blade HQ exclusive on this, so has really interesting action. Super sweet. All right, we're gonna move on to spydercos. Have a Yojimbo 2 in 20 CV, and this is Flytanium titanium scales. I always preach about Chinese knives and how they're terrible and don't support China. Unfortunately, I do own these scales. I love them very much, so I'm not willing to take them off. But yeah, I still remain the same on my opinion there. I'm not a supporter of China, but unfortunately I haven't found any American companies that make titanium scales for this knife in particular, or any of the spydercos. Maybe I'm wrong there. Leave a comment down below, guys, if there's somewhere I can buy some American made scales for this Yojimbo 2 and PM2. I'm sure there's something out there. Hook me up. I'll post these up for sale for cheap on my Instagram. I love this knife. I love the compression lock, and I love the weight and the shape of this blade. It's one of my favorite knives. I just feel like people really don't like looking at it. If I post it online or whatever, people, I don't know, I guess it's a weird shaped blade, weird shaped handle. People don't think it's a good knife. I'm not sure. I think it's an excellent knife. Probably some of the best ergonomics on any knife out there. I mean, it really makes sense the way the handle gets a little thinner there, then thickens up and gets smaller again. It's almost like a handprint. It fits your hand perfect. I love it, and I love this huge swoop for your thumb. Very, very ideal shape, and very pointy and very thin behind the edge. Very cool knife. Spyderco Native. Native Chief. There you go. S90V. Carbon fiber, full thickness carbon fiber scales, which is pretty rare for Spyderco to do. Usually do like laminates with G10. This is full thickness, so pretty sweet, and a nice large sized S90V blade. Super slicey, full flat grind, super thin. Spyderco's really got it figured out, guys. I mean, I know that they slowed down over the past few years with some of their creativity, but I'm gonna give them a pass. You know, COVID was messed up. Everything was shut down all over the country and stuff. Maybe they were just taking a much needed break. I'm positive that they'll come back. I'm sure they're still at the top. There's no way for us to really know, but it seems like some people have jumped off the bandwagon a little bit. Their knives and their heat treat on their knives is, everything is awesome about it. So Rex 45 paramilitary 2, RGT Timascus clip. They call this a ghost clip. It's pretty cool. And then once again, this is Flytanium titanium. To me, it's necessary. I gotta have the titanium. So once again, anybody knows where I can get some American-made titanium paramilitary 2 scales, hit me up. I like this knife a lot. Unfortunately, I don't get to use it that much, but I had a S110V paramilitary 2. I didn't really love the blurple color. Wasn't really a fan. And I love the orange. This came orange and green, and I thought it would look cooler if I left the G10 scale on it than it just being all silver. Maybe one day I'll put the other titanium scale on there. I don't know. We'll see. This is a really cool one. Really weird looking one. This is a USN. That's Usual Suspect Network. Regrind, Andella, Emerson, and Spyderco collaboration. Also reground by Crane Knives. So really, really cool. It's got this false edge swedge going on. Dagger point. Reground. Much thinner than a stock Andella. Or this, I don't know, I think it's an Andella. It's one of those. Whatever. Just comment below, guys, if I'm wrong. I think it's an Emerson and Spyderco Andella collaboration. Really cool knife. Green FRN and the black and the silver. I just think it looks really great. Really fun knife. Lock back. Good action. Drop shut. Almost. Pretty good for a lockback. I'm a big fan of this one. This is new. American Blade Works. Full titanium. S35 VN. Great detent on this knife. Still getting used to it. It's a little on the smaller side. Yeah, I don't want to comment too much on it because I just got it like yesterday, but it's really cool. I'm enjoying it a lot, actually. I really enjoy it. I just don't want to say too much because I just got it. Steve Ryan finger. It's a really sweet custom knife. I don't even remember what steel this is anymore. I think it's CPM 154 or 154 CM. I'm not sure. Cool flamed hardware. I've been trying to sell this actually for a while. Nobody's buying it. Some guy was like, oh, I'm not buying that. That hardware looks like Medford's hardware. I'm not buying anything that looks like Medford hardware. Like, all right, bro. Cool. I'm not really selling it for any other reason than I need a little extra cash, but it's freaking awesome. I'm happy to keep it. It just so happens that it's one that I would be willing to let go over others. And some of the knives I can't really sell, guys. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to buy, you know, like a Formax Scout from me. So I keep it. Why not? I keep it. It's really cool. Anyways, it's cool to have all these things. Sometimes you just, man, I wish I had some extra money. So you sell something, right? Anyways, moving on. Bowie XM24, blue hardware in the front, blue G10 scale on the back. Still kind of a work in progress with the upgrades, but copper standoffs and I don't forget what they call this, but whatever, those things, and a copper stabilizer, and you can see the blue popping through. I'd like to get a little more copper stuff back here. I don't know if that's even possible, but it looks really cool to me. And this I have running on Teflon, and it's like crazy action on it. Just drop shut. It's like so hydraulic. Definitely one of the best actions on any of the knives I own, and it's running on Teflon. No blade play, up or down, nothing. So Teflon really breaks in good. Huge fan of this one. This knife actually took me forever, like weeks, to be able to spidey flick it. The detent was so crazy strong, but can do it now. I find a lot of hinderers are like that. Like the detent out of the box is so crazy. Because even this little one, this is my fullti Jurassic bronze hardware. And man, I could barely spidey flick this either when I got it. Barely. Like, it really hurt. And I sit there, I'm like a a kid that bangs his head against the wall over and over, you know. I'm like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, and I just keep doing it, and my fingers are like bleeding, and my nails are black and blue, and I just do it anyways. But yeah, the Spidey flicks were tough on my hinderers in the beginning until the detent really broke in. This is fullti. I bought this, obviously aftermarket. He doesn't really sell fullti versions of this right out of the box. But man, I love it. I think a fullti hinderer is tough to beat. It has awesome acoustics, and it just looks and feels great. Very well balanced knives. This is running on skiff bearings. It's the only knife I have on skiffs, but really sweet. I really am a huge fan of the Jurassic. The ergonomics on this knife as well, really, really excellent. Really, really excellent. Top notch. Excellent design. Alright guys, we're almost done with folder. There's only like 10 more. Strider AR. This is classic Strider AR. I believe when I opened it, written on the inside of one of these titanium slab scales. It says, actually it might be written on the G10. I think it's 2005. So this knife's about 16 years old. It's modified G10. The person I bought it from had it modified. I love it. I think it's truly a beautiful knife. When I got it, I put a new edge on it. The action on this blade is incredible. The design of the knife, like the thickness of this titanium liner is crazy. I mean, it would rival some frame locks on thickness without any G10 overlay here. You know, it's thick. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous knife, and the action is really superb. The lockup you can still see after, how old did I say it is? It's like 16 years old, maybe plus or minus one. Well, look at the lockup on that. It's crazy. It has a lot to do with how Strider grinds their blades. They have that extra notch at the end, so it can't push all the way over. It's really smart. SMF, Strider SMF, production line, tiger stripe coating on the blade. I love, 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 love this knife. Top-notch knife. That's one of my favorite knives. One of my buddies, he like pointed out, he's like, oh, Strider's detent. All right, I'll give it to you. I'm not gonna argue. Like, Strider does not offer the strongest detent in the world. The knife is incredibly reliable. It flies open, it closes nice. These knives, I don't know, the SMF to me is really excellent. I like how long it is. It's like long, but it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's not fat. I don't know, it just, you can wrap your whole hand right around it. It feels great in your hand. Excellent ergonomics, as most Striders have. Sweet, sweet knife. This is a Strider protech. Gorgeous, gorgeous knife. Deep red, kind of crimson micarta on it. And then all black everywhere else. 154 cm. Just really snappy, reliable action. Really great. It's a handsome knife. This is a Medford, or a Strider made by Medford. The AR .75, .75 AR. I get those confused. Really excellent knife. Interesting knife. Too interesting to get into right now, but I love it. It's top 5 knife of mine. S90V razor blade sharp. The tip is so freaking thin. I mean, it's absolutely crazy how thin the tip is. It's one of the thinnest blades in the tip that I own. Of course, it's not going to focus. I can't get into it too much. I think my battery is dying, so. Medford Fat Daddy, sculpted, and S35 VN blade. Just a tank. A beautiful, gorgeous knife. And it sounds like you're like cocking a gun when you whip this open. I mean, it's heavy duty. It's pretty sweet. I love messing with this knife. And this cuts. Don't care what anybody says about the blade stock. Cuts very well. Sorry, I think I gotta push through this a little more because I think my phone is gonna crap out. Medford Praetorian tie, flamed finish, faced and flamed. Ooh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous knife. 3V, black PVC, tanto. Beautiful action on it. Super thick. It's like the first expensive, like super expensive knife I ever bought. And it's amazing. It's really amazing. It's definitely a collection piece. One to keep. Custom Cerakoted. This is a Spartan harsey folder. S45 VN. Very beautiful knife. Gorgeous action on it. I didn't see anybody ever do an orange Cerakote on it, so that's really what I wanted to do. I thought it would look really cool, and I'm a big fan of orange, and I think it came out great. ADV Alpha. It's a big knife. It's like 10.5 or 11 inches. Carbon fiber inlays. Marble carbon fiber. Best action on any knife I own. It's crazy. Sweet button lock. Huge knife. Not for everybody. But luckily for me, my hands aren't too tiny. Works good. Grimsmo Norseman. I keep it pretty patinaed. I don't Windex this anymore. I got tired of it. I think it looks great. Kind of worn. Pocket worn finish on the anodizing. Also, just in general, man guys, the machining, the precision on these knives, it's one of a kind. One of a kind. I understand why they're so popular, and you know, I also understand why people don't like them. I understand the blade shape is weird, but it's functional. It's real functional. Depends on what you're doing, but the action is superb. There's no blade play. Everything is just perfect. It's like some ancient Egypt shit. It's pretty dope. Definitely a top for me. Another top knife for me. I really, really love this knife. I don't know, there's controversy with DDR where they make their knives, whatever. I'm pretty sure it's made in America, man. Maybe at one point I heard they like made their like hardware in China or some shit, and they like got caught for it. I don't know. I don't even know if there's any proof. This knife is freaking amazing though. Just a simple flipper, carbon fiber, all these cutouts, blue stonewashed titanium on the back. Stamped made in America on it. It's really, really just a satisfying to use knife. And the action's crazy. It's like you have to crank this pivot all the way down, and it's just like cranked all the way down. This is the action it has. It's insane. I love it. I love, love, love this knife. I'm gonna speed through the fixed blades now, guys. This is a Tops Cockpit Commander. I love this knife. Gift from Steel Capital. Great one. Huge fan of the Tracker Dan clip. Very useful. You'll see I use ulti clips on most of my knives. This is my DPX Hest, the original form, wrapped in paracord with the bottle opener. I haven't been using it as much, but I love, love, love this knife too. Great. great size, very usable. Extrema ratio, fulcrum C. Definitely, this is a fun one, I think, to play around with for me, just because it's kind of, it's like a brick of steel. It's crazy. It's like, I don't even know what it would be behind the edge, like 0.5. I don't know. It's crazy. It's just like a crazy, I don't know, you want to knock someone's head off with a type of knife. So cool, great functional handle, even though it doesn't look as functional, but 2 double-sided finger guards. I'm a huge fan. Also, you'll see ulti clip. This one is tactical pterodactyl. It's a karambit. I don't know what he calls it. It's freaking amazing. It's AEBL, I think, at 65 Rockwell. The ergonomics on this knife, the sculpting, all that, it's so amazing for reverse grip. And you'll see I have it mounted reverse because I carry it reverse. So when I pull it, it's like that. But excellent, beautiful knife. I love it. Forget this. I'm gonna come back to it, see if I can think of the name. RMJ Tactical. This is a U-cap. It means up close and personal. Sweet sculpted nitro V blade. Also huge fan of this knife. This is one of my favorite knives ever. I mean, for a fixed blade. Just extremely functional. Very functional. McNeese, I have no idea what it's called. It's like backup fixed blade, tiger claw. I don't know what it's called. Something crazy like that. It's 20 CV. Great little backup blade though. You know, last ditch defense knife. I think it's called something like that. I don't remember. But it's great. I rock it as a neck knife here since summer came around. Well, summer's coming around. And then a Strider nail, which was my neck knife for a long time. Just a sharpened piece of titanium. Really gorgeous anodization and flaming on it. I love it. I really love it. I love all that I got, guys. Subscribe, comment below, please. Tell me what's up. I don't know why I cannot remember the name of this, but maybe I'll comment below when I figure it, put it in the description. I forgot the name. So many knives, but sweet little bone handle. You guys will recognize the house. My brain is farting right now. Great knife. A1 tool steel. Stag handle. I'm a huge fan of this as well. I really love smaller fixed blades at this point. Larger folders and small fixed blades. That's my thing. Yo, thanks for joining me, guys. I know the video is crazy long. I hope you guys liked it anyways. And I'm going to do some more videos coming up. All right? Peace.